There is talk about building more nuclear energy plants in the United States. There is even a proposal to build one southwest of downtown Fresno. What is your position on existing nuclear power plants, the moratorium on building more nuclear power plants in California, the nuclear waste issue, and the viability of building a nuclear power plant in the Central Valley?
Well, let me address the last part of the question. That's what do I think about a nuclear plant being southwest Fresno? I'm against that. And I'm on record as voting against moving forward on a project like that because I don't believe it's the kind of economic development we need to spur growth in southwest Fresno. I find it interesting that nuclear power is the only source of power that actually comes with medication. If we locate a nuclear power plant by your home or by your children's school, the federal government will come knock on your door and hand you a packet of pills just in case of a nuclear meltdown. Just in case. Now I can tell you, last year I was in Germany on a political exchange trip, and of course many of the advocates for nuclear power constantly cite Europe. And so I had an opportunity to speak with many folks at the EU as well as members of parliament in Germany, and Germany has decided to put a ban on nuclear power, and they are now phasing out all of their current nuclear power plants because they don't feel comfortable with it. Now they're moving more towards renewable energies and alternative fuels. And that's where I believe we need to go. You saw just a couple days ago, the city of Fresno, we cut the ribbon on the country's largest solar project at any airport in the nation. And that's the kind of renewable energy that I'm proud to support. And I got to tell you, I was proud to be the lead on that project and to get that project through.
You can move here.
There were some naysayers who said it couldn't be done. They wanted to wait for some other airport to do it first before we try to do ours. But I said no. We moved forward and we pushed forward on that. I'm proud to say that that's the kind of renewable energy that my administration is going to focus on, not nuclear power.
What about nuclear power somewhere in the Central Valley?
No. Listen, if I don't believe that nuclear power is good enough for southwest Fresno, then I don't believe it's good enough for anywhere else in the Central Valley. I find it, you can't have it both ways on this one. You can't say, oh, well, no, we won't do it in southwest Fresno, but, it's okay in Mendota or Port Parlier. No, the challenges with dealing with nuclear power are the same no matter where you are. And the reality is, I'll never forget in the primary, I spoke to a group of attorneys, and a group this size, and somebody asked a question on nuclear power, and he was a supporter of nuclear. So he and I had an exchange for about 10 minutes, and we went back and forth on our reasons. And I said, okay, well, listen. I said, we're not going to change each other's minds on this issue. I said, but let's talk about the practicalities of nuclear power. I go, let's just say today. I said, you know what? Yeah, I support nuclear power, and we're going to now find a site, and we're going to put it next to your home or your children's school. Would you support nuclear power then? And he backed off. He's like, well, and he started hemming and hawing. I'm like, listen, that's the reality. Once you get past the philosophical debate of nuclear, then you got to get to the practical, the practicalities of where you're going to locate something like this. And then I think when you put it in that context, people start to look at it in a different light. So no, I don't believe that nuclear power is the future of the city.
More nuclear energy plants in the United States. There is even a proposal to build one southwest of downtown Fresno. What is your position on existing nuclear power plants, the moratorium on building more nuclear power plants in California, the nuclear waste issue, and the viability of building a nuclear power plant in the Central Valley?
Well, my position hasn't changed since May when all of the candidates were asked this question, and the Community Alliance did a great spread on a number of these issues. I don't support building a nuclear power plant in Fresno. Simply put, I do not support it. It's not my cause. It's not one of the threads I will be pulling on.
What about in terms of the Central Valley or elsewhere?
Honestly, it's not a focus of mine at all. So I understand there are people who may champion that or do, they've got a long road ahead if they are trying to see nuclear energy coming about in California, but it's just not where I'm going to be